Pemirsa, upaya untuk melanjutkan gugatan Pidana Yurisdiksi Universal atas kasus etnis Uyghur di Xinjiang terus diperjuangkan. Pengumpulan bukti dukungan serta kesiapan saksi menjadi salah satu instrumen penting untuk melenggangkan langkah hukum yang telah dilakukan dalam pengadilan pidana di Buenos Aires, Argentina pada 4 Februari lalu. Seperti apa informasi lengkapnya? Kali ini kita telah terhubung dengan melakukan wawancara eksklusif bersama Michael Polak, pengacara dari The World Uyghur Congress dan The Uyghur Human Rights Project. Selengkapnya untuk Anda.
On behalf of the World Uyghur Congress and the Uyghur Human Rights Project, we're making a submission to the Argentinian courts under their universal jurisdiction provisions. Under the Argentinian constitution, the courts in Argentina can try crimes wherever they take place, and they've interpreted that to mean that they can try cases of war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, which take place all around the world, and it doesn't require the suspect to be within Argentina. So at the moment we're getting the evidence together, there's a really strong body of evidence showing that crimes against humanity and genocide are taking place in the Uyghur region. And we'll be putting that before the Argentinian courts and asking them to investigate what's going on there. The Uyghur Tribunal heard evidence from a number of witnesses of facts. It was a really valuable exercise, and they came to the conclusion that there's credible evidence that crimes against humanity and genocide are taking place in the Uyghur region. And not only did they have witnesses of fact, so those who've escaped from these absolutely atrocious concentration camps in the region, but they also had expert evidence which looked at things in regards to purchasing military supplies to be used in the camps, satellite imagery experts, that kind of thing. It's a really valuable process which looked at exactly what's happening there. And if anyone wants to see, wants to experience what the people of the region are suffering because of their religion, because of their ethnicity, I would encourage them to go and have a look at the website of the tribunal, where you can see links to the witnesses giving evidence about what's happening to them. The evidence that we're putting forward before the Argentinian courts is very strong, and it's based on evidence which has been collected over many months. And some of it's absolutely shocking. And it's evidence of women being taken into camps, subject to rape, subject to torture, forced sterilization, forced abortions as well. And I encourage people to go and read it. It's some of the most difficult evidence I've had to read in my career about what's happening to the Uyghur and Kazakh and Uzbek people in the region, to women, to men. And what's so shocking about it, the acts which are being carried out against these people just because of their religion, because of their ethnicity, are absolutely shocking in themselves. But the thing which hit me the hardest is the hopelessness for the people who are in that situation. They're taken into these camps, they have no legal recourse. There is no legal system or no proper legal system in China that one can challenge their detention in these concentration camps. There's no proper government body that one can go to and say, I shouldn't be here, I should be released. So these people are in an absolutely hopeless situation, being subject to systematic rape, abortion, forced sterilization, torture, and they have no chance of escaping. They're kept there at the whim of the local authorities, of the Chinese authorities. And this is quite clearly crimes against humanity and genocide. The reason why we're bringing this case in Argentina is that Argentina has the best law on universal jurisdiction of any country around the world. We say that's their gift to the world, their universal jurisdiction provisions in Argentina. Universal jurisdiction means that a crime can be tried and investigated no matter that it didn't take place in that country or involving the nationals of that country. The benefits to universal jurisdiction in Argentina is there's no political role in the process. For example, in Turkey they have a law on universal jurisdiction, but the Attorney General of Turkey needs to give his permission for a case to go forward. In Argentina, there's no involvement of a political appointee like that. So that's why it's a great place to bring the case. Another reason is, in Argentina, it doesn't require the suspects to be on the territory of Argentina. In Germany, they have quite a strong law on universal jurisdiction, but they'll exercise it when the suspects are on German soil. In Argentina, that's not needed. So we're focusing on the Argentina universal jurisdiction provisions. We have faith in the courts of Argentina to take this forward. The evidence is very strong. And as people around the world have seen recently, kowtowing to these kind of dictators, as happened with states around the world with Putin, doesn't help. And I think there is a big movement in politics to look at these terrible regimes around the world and how we can combat them. So we have a lot of faith in the Argentinian judiciary, and we think we will have a successful case there. In Argentina, the case will be led by lead witnesses, and they're witnesses of facts. These are people who've escaped from the concentration camps in the Uyghur region, and they give direct evidence of what they've seen: systematic rapes, forced sterilization, abortion, torture, offences where they've been forced to eat pork as Muslim people as well. So really terrible stuff on a systematic scale. These are huge camps you can see on satellite imagery. So the evidence of these lead claimants in the case will be very strong. But this will be accompanied by expert evidence, and there are experts all around the world who've been researching and who've been watching what's happening in the region. So we say we've got a really strong body of evidence which shows exactly what's happening there, and it shows that crimes against humanity and genocide are taking place. The international legal order is frustrated by the fact you have countries such as China and Russia sitting on the Security Council. And if the free and democratic states around the world try to set up something through the UN system, they can often block it. Of course, with China, it's not a member of the International Criminal Court, so there are limited arguments in regards to jurisdiction for the International Criminal Court, which thus far haven't been successful. But there is a move in international criminal law away from the big tribunals and to the domestic courts of states around the world. And that's what we're doing with this universal jurisdiction prosecution in Argentina. More and more states are seeing the failure of international courts and the United Nations system, and they're saying, well, we have to deal with these matters in our own courts. So we think the power of domestic courts to exercise jurisdiction over offences, the most heinous crimes which happen overseas, is very important, because otherwise these dictators, these regimes who attack people because of their religion, because of their ethnicity, will get away with it.